going to make some Belizean tamales. So to start off, we're going to do some stewed chicken. So get your pot ready with some hot coconut oil. Of course, your chicken's going to be seasoned already to your liking or however you want to do that. We usually use black pepper, seasonal, a little bit of salt, some achote, which we also call ricado. You can find that in the Mexican store. Of course, you're going to like make that into somewhat of a paste and dilute that in water, and keep your chicken in there for maybe I want to say about 20 minutes so it can soak up the seasoning. You know, and then now we're just going to brown our chicken until it's golden brown. And of course, you're gonna brown your chicken on each side. Trying to fit 18 drumsticks in this pot. Okay, so one side of the chicken is brown already, so we turned them all over to the other side. I'm gonna try and get them all brown, like golden brown as possible. So I took out all the brown chicken I've had and I washed out my frying pan to get rid of some of the oil. We don't need all of that in our food, right? So I'm putting back all the chicken back in the frying pan so that we can start getting prepared to stew it down. So as mentioned earlier, we had some ricado or aka achote diluted in water with some bell peppers and onions. So we're gonna pour that over our ground chicken and cover our pot, you know, so and stew it down for at least I want to say 30-45 minutes. You have to check your chicken to make sure that it's soft. You want it to be almost falling off the bone, but not completely off the bone, if you know what I mean. So we're just gonna pour some extra water in the pot, just so that we can stew that down and allow the chicken to cook thoroughly. And of course, cover your pot. Just make sure that you're checking so that it's not all the water is not, you know, boiled down and you burn your chicken. This is what it should look like. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is get our banana leaves. I found this in Gardenas, which is my nearest Hispanic or Mexican store. So I cut that up in about 10 by 8 or 12 by 10 inches, somewhere around there. just enough to make some decent sized tamales. So of course you want to clean these up thoroughly. This right here is actually my second wash. Okay, now because the banana leaves are somewhat like kind of hard and brittle, they're not blendable, or should I say bendable. So to take care of that, we just put it on the stove top and kind of heat up the leaves a little bit, and this makes it a little bit pliable, so when it's time for you to make off your tamales and wrap them up, it's not that difficult to do, and your leaf is not breaking. So we're gonna continue to do this until we get through all, I want to say 18 pieces of leaves for our tamales. The next thing you have to be mindful of is the type of masa that you get. They have two types of masa in the Mexican store, or Gardinas, where I shopped. They have one masa preparada, which is for the Mexican tamales, and it seems that the masa para tortilla is the one that's more favorable for Belizean tamales, because you get to make it however you want, you season it how you want, and the masa preparada for the tamales out here already has a lot of stuff in it. So this is what I'm talking about, masa para tortilla. This is the masa that you'll be using. So I bought about 4 pounds. So I separated it into one is about, the smaller pan is about, I want to say a pound and a half, and then the bigger pan that I have here is about the remaining, which is 2.5 pounds. So we're gonna break both of these down in some water to make kind of a paste out of it. So your paste is supposed to be somewhat, well, I want to say not watery, but has some kind of consistency to it, but it's not to where it's just completely watered down. So just a few minutes, I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So when you're doing this, you want to add your water gradually, so that you can control the consistency of the masa. So this is what it should look like. So now I'm going to take some onions, some bell peppers, some tomatoes, and put that in some water and boil that down until the onions are soft. And then that paste on the bigger bowl, the paste we use, we're going to put that in a strainer to also strain the masa as well while we try to make the dough, which is the inner filling for the tamales. So in this pot as well, you want to season your pot with some bell peppers and onions, some black pepper, some salt. You can also put in your filling peas and carrots in there as well. And don't be afraid to taste your filling as you're making it. You do want it to have some kind of tasting to your liking, because it really blends in with the stew chicken when it's cooked, when the tamales is completed and cooked. And to give your filling some color, what I used was I took a bowl, I took some ricotta or aka achote and diluted that in some water, and I'm going to add that to my tamales filling so it has some color in it as well. Because you don't want just a bland looking mixture in the middle of your tamales. That's just not inviting. So we're just going to continue to mix this up until it's fully blended. And then we're going to get prepared to make off these tamales. So when I'm getting off my tamales, of course we already have the banana leaves done, but I also use foil. So I place the foil in the bottom, banana leaves on top, and then I put the masa paste that I made from the small bowl, on top of the banana leaves. And then after this completed, then we're going to put the filling on top of the masa paste, and then we're going to put a piece of chicken in there and then wrap it up. And don't be afraid. You can actually get gravy out of your chicken, or and then also put a little bit of that in there, so your tamales isn't dry and it has a lot of flavors in there combined together. It's going to be amazing. And of course, while you're wrapping up your tamales, make sure that you secure both ends. And there you have it. So after you wrap up all of those, you're going to place them in a pot or steam pot with some water and steam for at least an hour and a half. And this is what the end product is. Of course, you're going to let it steam for an hour and a half, and then you're going to let the tamale set for at least an hour, 45 minutes before you open it. And this is the end product. Enjoy, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.